All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. We have the win total set for this team. It's at 11 and a half. All right, last season their preseason win total, I should say, was set at 10.5. They went above and beyond. So things are subject to change and things will change. But currently, as it stands, San Francisco preseason win total wise is number one in the NFC at 11 and a half. The Eagles are right there at 10 and a half. The Saints, Cowboys, and Lions all have 9 and a half. But I know the Niners lost some pieces, but so far they've addressed enough of what they needed to address. Now, there still are some question marks with that offensive line. We'll talk about it a little later on in the video. But specifically, if you wanted to pinpoint maybe two weaknesses statistically for this team last season, you could look at the offensive line and you could look at the secondary. Now, first things first, I just want to get this out there, and I know Niners fans agree with this statement. I cannot wait for Steve Wilkes. I think he's going to get it. I think he's going to get this defense right because the defense already is right. So they're going to continue to get even better. They're so deep. Like I said, I know they've lost some pieces. They've also gained some pieces like Javon Hargrave. But when we take a look at the points of emphasis statistically, keyword statistically, secondary and offensive line, personally, I think the secondary lapses were more due to the lack of pass rush. And they addressed that right out of the gate, signing 30-year-old Javon Hargrave. I don't think he's too old. He's had almost 19 sacks combined in the last two seasons. This past year with Philadelphia, he started and played in all 17 games. That's also critical. All right. Now, we know the Niners defense is ranked number one. We know they're extremely deep. It's like a next man up philosophy. Guys rotating in and out. They're so fresh for second halves. It's actually kind of crazy. But reliability is key. And Javon Hargrave, the lowest since he's been in the league, when he got into the league in 2016, that's 7 years ago, 7 seasons ago. The lowest game total he's had is 15. 15. So that's good news there in itself. But he had 11 total sacks, 60 combined tackles. The year before it, 63 combined tackles, 7.5 sacks. He made a Pro Bowl once again. He started and played in every game for Philadelphia Eagles. But I don't have concerns with the secondary. I think there was no pass rush, and I've made countless videos on this. But before we get any further, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I also post a couple of Niner vids every single week. So Niners fans, if we get this video to 500 likes, that would mean the world to me. But I made so many videos when the season ended about San Francisco and their lack of pass rush outside of Nick Bosa. Now you have Javon Hargrave, you have Nick Bosa, you have Farrell, you have, and we're 4 weeks away from the draft. Moves could be made, free agency and in the draft to help continue to bolster up the pass rush. But that was the fatal flaw to me. Outside of your quarterbacks going down and the offensive line, defensively, I don't have secondary concerns. I had pass rushing concerns. That secondary is going to get lit up if they're double teaming Nick Bosa and nobody else is getting any pass rush on your quarterback, the opposing quarterback. Well, it's only a matter of time at that point. So I seriously think, I know the price was pretty high for Javon Hargrave, but I seriously think that is such a critical signing. And I think Niners fans, when it's all said and done, I think it'll start right away. He's just so good at generating pressures. He had 16 quarterback hits this past year. He had 18 quarterback hits the year before. I think the Hargrave move was beautiful. Now, offensive line. I understand you lost Mike, but there is a silver lining here. And the silver lining is as simple as, well, this draft is super deep. It's a deep draft in general, but especially at the offensive line position. I think personally, they're going to go heavy and quick offensive line moves. I'm kind of hoping that some young existing Niners offensive lineman, as it stands right now, can kind of turn himself into a star with this great coaching staff, the great player development they have going on in San Francisco. So that's the thing to me, because no matter who's the quarterback, Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, I don't care who's the quarterback, you need to protect them. And whether it was Jimmy G, whether it's been Trey Lance, whether it was Brock Purdy, there are concerns, rightfully so. Can this offensive line protect your quarterback? It sucks, but I have not hit the panic button, and I will not hit the panic button. And I know Mike was a big loss at right tackle. However, with that price, I think they know the talent they have on their team, and they're going to go forward with it and also focus on the offensive line in the draft. Earlier today, or actually, earlier yesterday, they signed, or actually traded for Zane Gonzalez. He has an 80.5 career field goal percentage, which ranks 37th among the 43 kickers with at least 50 attempts since 2017. That's not a good stat. So I don't think Zane Gonzalez is the answer. I think they're going to use one of their 3 third-round draft picks to take the kicker that they want. But competition is good, right? Competition breeds the betterness of everybody involved. So I found the Zane Gonzalez trade interesting, but I think it's good to just have as a backup. I don't think he will be the starting kicker for this team next year. We'll definitely miss Robbie Gould. I know all Niners fans would agree with that statement. But the kicker, the secondary, the offensive line, I think those were the 3 points of concern for this team heading into the offseason. You got to keep in mind as well, I know some fans might be getting, and I haven't really seen it, I know some fans might be getting a little antsy where it's like, why aren't we making these big-time moves? Good teams don't need to make these big-time moves. In fact, if you want to win for a long period of time, you got to find the low-key moves. You got to continue to develop and progress your current roster. Drafts are extremely important, but you got to find those hidden gems. You got to find those guys who complement each other. Teams who are coming off great seasons with superstars like Nick Bosa that, are going to have to pay relatively soon. You don't go out there and make big-time moves. So the Javon Hargrave move to me was pretty surprising, but I'm very glad that they ended up doing it because I think he fits what they need perfectly. The quarterback position is interesting. Once again, the quarterbacks can only do so much if they're not being protected or held up by their offensive line. Personally, and I don't think many Niners fans would agree with this statement, I think the quarterback of the future is Trey Lance. I don't think Trey Lance has ever truly gotten the best. I don't think he's really ever gotten the proper opportunity. But I will say this, I feel good about Brock Purdy, and I feel really good about Sam Darnold. I seriously think Sam Darnold is a great body to have just in case. So the camp, the offseason, it's all going to be interesting to see who's the starting quarterback. I know all kind of signs are pointing to Mr. Brock Purdy right now, and I don't think anybody is complaining about that, but I think Trey Lance has that superstar potential. He just needs to stay healthy, needs his offensive line to protect him, and he needs that opportunity. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen for, training camp and just for the start of the season and preseason, just all of it in general. It's a good time to be a Niners fan right now. I know they're not making crazy moves anymore. No team's really making crazy moves. We're about 2 weeks into free agency. The time has kind of passed for that. But things are subject to change, and their 11.5 win total for next season, I certainly agree with it. Seattle is definitely on the rise. Philadelphia is a good football team, but regardless of how those two teams do next season, San Francisco, they're going to be right there, at least around the top. This team isn't going anywhere. So hit that like button, hit that sub button. But guys, most importantly, I want to hear from you down below. Let me know what you're thinking about San Francisco so far, the 2 weeks into free agency. And that's it for today. I'll catch you guys till next.